he's still climbing. See him trying to cross the street. He tests his footing like he was up 10,000 feet above the clouds, halfway down Dominion Road. Solo.
When people come to your gigs and yell out, play Dominion Road, how do you react?
We're going to play it anyway. There's very little that people could yell out that I would go, I don't want to play that, I'm bored with that song or whatever, because I've been around a long time, so I seem like I've got a large catalogue, but it's not really very large when you consider the number of songs a year. Halfway down, halfway down, halfway down Dominion Road.
Dominion Road, it's an iconic song because it really places us in our city and in our country. And, you know, we've just had our elections and we've got a new mayor and new vibe going on. Do you get a sense of how things are here?
Well, I'm still living here half the time, and I was away for the local body elections, and I've come back, and I don't have a clue what the mayor really stands for because he won't talk to the media, which I think is odd. All I know is that there seems to be a situation where somebody's coming in and saying, I'm going to clean up everything, make everything work better, and it'll cost less than it did last time. Cost less than it always had, which always makes me a bit suspicious. I prefer people to say, we've got an idea, we can fix things, and it'll probably cost some money, let's talk about it. But it seems to be a bit of a trope.
That's the award-winning John McGlashan for you. One of New Zealand's most recognised and acclaimed songwriters, he of that lilting voice, those chord progressions and deeply considered lyrics.
Do you start with the idea, the concept for the song? Do you have lyrics that sort of pop in your head and you go, oh, I'm going to write a song around that?
I've got two sides to me. We all have, you know, right and a left side. Music sort of is more from the subconscious side. So it tends to, it's more taller and better dressed than the other side of me. Is stronger and, you know, more dominant. And the other side takes a while, the kind of lyric ideas side. So I've got to kind of let that side have a bit of time.
Holly Smith made this waiata her own, but it was John McGlashan who wrote Bathe in the River. His work has signposted our country's playlist for decades.
And the moon is way up high.
Blam, blam, blam. The Front Lawn, the Mutton Birds. Remember that remake of the Formula song, Nature? Then there's been his successful solo career, and often in those songs of his, a political message.
It's an interesting position for artists too, because sometimes when they speak out on issues, people go, what the heck, they're just a musician, shut up. Or they go, well, why don't you use your platform to be useful and say something?
Yeah, tell me about it. And, you know, as soon as somebody says, what do you know, you're just a musician, I'll be the first to agree, you know, but you have the platform, and when anything is important, anything needs a conversation in the community or in any kind of context, the conversation's on lots of levels, and as an artist, you can add to it on one level. You know, you can't change people's voting habits with a song, but you can maybe make them read an article all the way to the end, or inspire them to do that.
And speaking of voting, there was that time he vented over the unauthorised use of his song Anchor Me.
Sometimes people can use your music because they think it's a good fit for them. So
I know it's coming. I know.
There will be a national-led government in New Zealand.
You once wrote a letter to TVNZ saying you would rather have sex with a very ugly crayfish than let them use my music. Who's them and what happened?
Oh, it was the National Party, and they, just after an election, which was a landslide, a national landslide, they used Anchor Me, because Anchor Me, the chorus goes, Anchor Me in the middle of your deep blue sea, and somebody went, blue, you know, and so they had shots of the National Party celebrating, and under it they played Anchor Me. I was asked for a comment, and so I said that thing about the crayfish, and then later on I had a friend come up to me in the street and say about that comment, and I thought, oh, here we go, you know, I've offended him somehow, he must be a national supporter. And he said, no, I think you've probably offended a lot of seafood.
But you were described as a insular lefty. Is that I mean, how did that land with you? And you insular lefty, you?
I don't know. I mean, I suppose it's good. I suppose it's good if people, if I'm clear in my views. I think you solve more problems if you can speak to both sides, and it's never something that I've been particularly good at.
During the Springbok tour of 1981, Don was fully in there, protesting.
Hey, where did you get arrested during '81?
I got arrested.
Was there a rumble around here?
No, it was right near. It was in Royal Terrace.
Oh yeah.
I just drove up it, and we'd spent the whole day fighting our way, trying to get into Eden Park.
Yes.
And then we got arrested in Royal Terrace and taken immediately to Eden Park. So that's all we needed to do.
Don McGlashan has picked up 6 tuis, won the Silver Scrolls twice, and has also been on the board of APRA as the artist's representative. He's watched things evolve over the years.
The Silver Scrolls were so different this year. There was so much te reo across the entire event. Did you ever imagine it could be like that if you rewind the clock to when you first started going?
Never, and it's awesome to be alive at this time. That gives me hope. You know, the Māori language renaissance and the sense that we could grow into a properly bicultural country. You know, out of the crazy mistakes that you know, that sort of gave birth to this place, you know, and all colonies, you know, mistakes that we wouldn't want ever to be repeated. But out of all of that, like you know, all of history gives us the opportunity to fix things and to move forward, and you know, to be living in a time where there could be a Silver Scrolls which was like that, which had that amount of te reo in it. You know, it's just such a privilege.
He's embraced the language himself through his real reboot of Bathe in the River. But alongside the tender lyrics, there's also real bite. And this, his most recent offering, is about Parihaka.
Minister Bryce polished his medals, declared that no one from the press.
Tell me about John Bryce and how you ended up being interested in that, writing a song about John Bryce for your new album, which I think that song is fantastic. It's got a lot of, feels like anger and frustration and like, what the heck?
Took the man without a trial, kept the leaders south in irons.
It's exactly what I wanted to do, and it's a sense of rage that only very recently did New Zealand school children learn about what happened at Parihaka, and the question of why would we commemorate on the 5th of November an obscure religious uprising or anarchic event. Why would we commemorate that in this place in the Pacific when something so important happened so close to home? And I wanted to write a song which was a rock song that maybe some pākehā kid working in a panel beater shop would listen to the radio and go, I like that beat, what's that about? And then go and look it up and look up who John Bryce was. And I also I struggled with myself a bit because I thought, it's a Māori story. What, you know, Māori don't need pākehā telling their stories for them. You know?
Not just a Māori story, because a whole bunch of pākehās went there.
I know, and that's where I came to. And I sort of said, if I get that argument, and I have so far, and I'm sure I'll get more pushback from different people.
What people have said?
Yeah, that people have said, you know, what it's not your business. But I think
Māori people?
Yeah, and I think that's a valid viewpoint. But I wrote it as a pākehā. It's a pākehā story as well as a Māori story. It's called John Bryce. And I think that, you know, we all need to be having a conversation about where we're going, you know, and we want to work out which side we're on. Are we on the side of the John Bryces in our current day community who just want the whole thing to go away? They're sick of hearing te reo on national radio. They're sick of talk about biculturalism. Or do we want to go the other way, where we could be the wonder of the world? We could be an ex-colony that has somehow worked out how to live, how to be together.
These days, Don McGlashan spends his time between Aotearoa, New Zealand, and Canada. His wife is Canadian. In between, he was once an artist in residence in the Antarctica.
With your Antarctica residency, I mean, was it like so out of it that you thought, what the heck?
Oh, it's amazing. And there's a whole bunch of songs that could have come out of that. And I sketched a lot. Then I got home and the sketchbook was in my bag and it was stolen. So I was left with what I could remember, which was a very strong image from one of Shackleton's journals. And that kind of, and I had all my, of course you carry all of your sights and sounds inside you, so all of that was there. But I ended up with this song about Shackleton that sort of sat there doing nothing until I knew I was going to be working with a big band, including Shane Carter and James Duncan and Chris O'Connor and Anita Clark, and I knew that they would step up and make these beautiful big Antarctic sort of sounds. So that song, I sort of pulled it out of the drawer and blew the dust off it and made it work.
And he's still making it work. Full circle on Dominion Road, writing, touring.
What do you think about when you walk down this old road, Dominion Road?
All the shopping trips I've taken, all of the times I've ridden a bike down here with a backpack on the back filled with groceries.
Has it changed much since you wrote it?
The song's about somebody who had a crisis and kind of came back from the crisis. And it's kind of, I went through a pretty depressed time, like maybe 10 years ago, I suppose. I now sing that song and I realise it was maybe a message to myself, a message to my future self, you know, or a message to everybody that's had a bit of a hard time, that there could be redemption in the future somewhere.